Students' behaviors are literally out of control.
Teachers are quitting and or not mentally well.
Guys, my mom's a preschool teacher. I think she genuinely hit her break.
Teachers shocked by students' lack of basic classroom skills.
Students' behaviors are literally out of control right now. A kid can come in, destroy your classroom, flip everything over, curse you out, and literally come right back. And sometimes they come back like nothing ever happened. But the real question is, what are we really teaching them by doing that? And I really do understand the restorative approach, but at some point, we have to start holding them accountable. Because in the real world, you can't just destroy someone's home or workplace and then talk it out, come right back like nothing happened. We need to bring back real consequences. We can still teach empathy along with those consequences, but as long as there are no consequences for these actions, they're going to continue. Oh, and let's not forget that the other students in the class, they're watching this and sometimes picking up on these actions and doing the same thing. Restorative or not, we need real consequences.
Even though gentle parenting is popular on social media, teachers think it's not good for kids.
Gentle parenting is ruining our children. Some children need a little firmer of a hand. It's starting to impact schools. It is starting to impact teachers. Teachers are leaving the profession by thousands every year because of the way children behave. Our hands are tied. We can't do much when students misbehave, when they're yelling, when they're cursing, when they're throwing chairs. They're trying to hit teachers with their jackets. They are stomping on their feet. That is not okay. That is when gentle parenting has not benefited that child. You have to teach your kids right from wrong. Teachers are not out to get kids. Teachers are there to do a job, and your child is preventing that teacher from doing a job. Your child is preventing the other students in the classroom from learning. Sometimes you have to punish your kids, okay? You just have to. They can't always negotiate their way out of consequences.
Teaching is not a sustainable profession anymore. Not at all. No. And I hate to start this video off with something so like dismal and like gloom, but it's true. And one of the biggest questions that I get asked all the time is like, how do you do it all? Like, how do you stay above water? And truthfully, I don't, not really, no. I am barely staying afloat. And so I just wanted to spend today's teacher tips sharing some strategies that I use every day and every week just to like maintain my sanity. Number one, I use my resources. And what I mean by that is like, I will be quick to go to my team. I'll have my special person that I go to. Sometimes I just want to vent. Sometimes I do actually want advice. I use my resources when it comes to that emotional standpoint. I also use my resources when I need like instructional help. I'll go to my reading coach. I'll go to my math coach. I am more than welcome and willing to always have someone from the district come in and like model something or explain something more in depth. I use my resources because I refuse to drive myself crazy if I can't figure something out on my own. Number two, I devote one day out of the week to just like crank it out. Like it is my late night where I spend on plans for the next week. I try to wrap my head around like just instruction, whether it's like long range planning, all that stuff. I just try to spend that specific amount of time on all school or all administrative tasks, catching up emails, all the things. Because other than my Wednesdays, I am spending time with myself or with my family. Period. Number three, you have to know when to stop. And I know, especially when you're like a first year teacher, it almost seems like that day where you devote your time to do all this stuff is kind of like every day. But you have to have a stopping point. You have to set that boundary. Hey, every day at 4 o'clock, I'm done. On Friday, like I do not care what's to come, I am done. And you have to be firm with the boundary that you set for yourself because it is going to be critical in maintaining any sort of level of sanity in this profession. You have to know when is your stopping point. Number 4 is one of my absolute favorite phrases to say, but you have to control the controllables. And what I mean by that is, yes, you're gonna have a kid or 2 or 5 who are having a very tough time, and you've implemented this strategy and you've done this and you've done that, and they just still cannot function. You have to control the things that are within the span of your control. Teach those kids who are attentive. If you have that one parent who is just like, they don't care, that is not for you to like stress out about. No, fine. You control the controllables. There are certain things that are not within the span of our control that we cannot bog ourselves down with, because it is going to start playing a physical effect on our lives. So focus on the things that you can control. And last but not least, something that I am actively still working on, you need to feel. I'm gonna cry even saying that. You need to stop running away from your feelings and cry when you gotta cry. Or if you're feeling overwhelmed, just like, you have to get it all out. Because the more that you sit with just like that uncomfortable feeling without some sort of like outward expression of that, the worse it's going to get, I promise you. And you are going to see the physical, the mental effects that it plays on your life. So sometimes if you are getting so worked up, be in that moment and feel whatever that looks like. Woo, today's teacher tip felt like therapy. So yeah, these are just some strategies that I use to kind of, again, maintain a level of sanity, especially just considering I love this profession so much, but with everything that we've got going on, it's just so hard to manage it all. So I hope these help. Let me know if you want to cry together. I would love to do that. And yeah, you'll have a great day. Bye.
10 things kids no longer know how to do, and I don't know why. Number 1, read a clock with confidence. They're always asking, what time is it? What time is it? I'm like, look at the clock. They're like, I don't know how to read that. And they say that to you with confidence. What's happening? Number 2, write in script. Whatever happened to writing in script? I love writing in script. I wish more of them knew how to do this. This is like a lost art. I'm sorry. I love writing in script. I prefer it over print, but they don't teach it in schools anymore. We need to bring that back. Bring it back. Number 3, memorize phone numbers. They don't know their parents' numbers. They don't even know what apartment they live in. They don't know what street they live on, which brings me into number 4. They don't know their address. We ask them, where do you live? I live down the block. Well, what's your address? I don't know. I'm talking about 3rd graders, y'all. 3rd grade. And it happened last year when I taught 2nd grade also. Number 5, they don't know how to count money. They don't know how to count money. And it's partially not their fault, right? Because we're always using cards, Apple Pay, things like that. But if you give them a few coins, they don't even know the names of the coins. They don't know the value of the coins. They can't add it all together. Like, what is happening? We got to bring it back. We got to bring it back. Know how to count coins. And you go over it in 2nd and 1st grade. So I'm kind of lost as to why we don't know how to count money, but okay. Number 6, they don't know how to tie their shoes. They have these fancy shoes and they don't know how to tie their shoelaces. Some of them have Velcro, and hey, if it works, it works. But I mean, come on, we should know how to tie our shoes. At 8 and 9, like, what's happening? What number did I get to? I don't know, 6 or 7? Anyway, the next one. They don't know their parents' names. I'll ask them, what is your mom's name? They'll be like, I don't know. You don't know your parents' name? They don't know where their parents are from? Like, do you speak to your parents at all? Y'all, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Next, they don't know what year they were born. Some of them can tell you their birth date, but what year they were born, they don't know. Nor are they interested. I don't know. Next, They don't know how to use a dictionary. Now, yes, everything is on the phones now. They use iPads and things like that, but still being able to put things in alphabetical order. They don't know what something means, but they're also not interested in figuring out what it means. Yeah, now they have dictionaries on their phone where they're able to look things up, but to actually look it up when you know that you don't know about it, like, there's no effort being put into that at all. So, of course, they're not going to use a dictionary. They don't even use their phone. All they have to do is copy down what the word is and read what it means. But they're not even going to do that. So, And last but not least, I think this is number 10. If it's not, y'all fill some down below. The last one is how to follow multi-step directions. If I tell them, go over there, get me that book, and then when you're done, wipe that desk off and then bring me the paper out of the book. They go, oh, okay. They go to the book and then they be like, what did you say to do again? Yeah. You're not listening. You're not listening at all. And it's a problem. I don't know, parents, if y'all can help us out, we need to go back to basics. Can you please help these kids out? Because they're coming to the classroom lacking the basics, and it's a problem. We're going to do our part as teachers, but we just need a little help. We need a little extra help at home. Please, please, please. We're a community. We work together. So let's set our kids up for success. Let's set our students up for success. And let's work together and try to just bridge some of these basic gaps. Please. Thank you. If you're a teacher, definitely leave some that you've noticed that kids don't know how to do anymore. Over the years, you're finding that they don't know how to do it and they should. Drop it down in the comments. I'm interested to see what challenges you guys are up against. All right, peace.
High school teachers are quitting and warning America about the future of our workforce. Here's why.
As somebody that taught high school and basically educating our new young adults, every last one of us should be scared. These kids cannot read. They cannot write. There is no type of comprehension skills, no type of critical thinking. They cannot do anything on their own. They expect everything to be given to them. So in my class, we did this thing where I made them write once a week. They would have some type of assignment where they would have to write at least a paragraph, meaning 5 sentences. 5 sentences. The amount of assignments that I got in with 1 sentence, 2 sentences, the amount of complaints I got with the whole 5 sentences, that's too much. Can we do 3? Isn't 3 considered a paragraph? Oh, baby. We are in for a wild ride, y'all. Every assignment that I gave them, there was several students that came to my desk and made me walk them through the entire assignment, the whole thing. But genuinely, the truth of the matter is everybody is failing these kids. Everybody. The school board with all these different rules, they're failing these kids. The principals or admin altogether, they're failing these kids, and they're failing the teachers because they're basically telling us that we had to just pass a child along just to keep these graduation numbers up. Like, oh, and don't get me started on the parents. Like, I will call and say, hey, your child is failing, and the first thing is, well, why didn't I know about this? Probably because you didn't answer the phone. Probably because you didn't respond to my email. On top of that, you have 24-hour access to Power School. When I tell y'all it is horrible, like, the parents that are here now are not the parents that we had growing up. So unfortunately, it's not these kids' faults. I mean, yeah, they're lazy, but like, what are you supposed to do when all you got to do is tell your mama, well, she failing me, and the school board is going to accommodate that parent? Like, it's crazy, y'all. We should be very scared for our new nurses, our new doctors, our new everybody. These colleges are going to have to start lowering their requirement because the amount of kids that are going to come into these schools and they cannot read, they cannot write, they cannot do anything without AI. We should really be scared.
So parents, are we just like not getting embarrassed by what our kids are doing at school anymore? Because I think back to when I was a kid, and quite literally, my parents instilled in me. They were like, you are a reflection of us. You will not make us look a fool in the schoolhouse. Now, I was bad at home. Okay, I was bad at home. I would fight with my sisters. I had a mouth on me. I was bad at home. But you would never catch me bad. Never catch me slipping. Never embarrassing my parents at the schoolhouse. Ever. Because I knew better. But like now, like parents, I feel like y'all don't care. Like, you realize your children are a reflection of you and a reflection of your parenting, right? And like, you're supposed to teach them how to act, right? We're supposed to reinforce it, right? We're supposed to reinforce it. We're supposed to help with like, more social settings and reinforce what you've already taught them. But you're supposed to teach them how to act, and how they act at school is a reflection of you and your parenting. I think some parents could afford to be embarrassed. I think some of us need to be embarrassed about how our children are acting at school. Because like when a student is disrespectful at school, I'm like, oh, okay, so you're just disrespectful at home then too. Because like clearly, if you're going to be disrespectful to me, I can't even imagine how disrespectful you are at home. Like, bring back being embarrassed about how our kids act at school, okay? Because that's the only way we're going to fix it. Your child shouldn't, like, you should not be okay with your child going to school acting a fool. That should make you upset. And that should make you go like, oh no, what have I done as a parent? Clearly, I didn't do it. And hey, I get it. Sometimes you can't control your kids. But like elementary school, come on now. Come on.
I'm a former teacher, and here's the real reason why teachers are quitting and or not mentally well. I'm sure you're thinking parents and admin, and some even say the kids. And those are all part of it. But that's not the root. This is the root. The root is that teachers don't have control anymore. One of the big differences between a good teacher and a bad teacher is a good teacher has control of their classroom. Bad teacher, it's crazy, chaos. A good teacher feels like they have control, feels like they have everything going on, feels like everything's going well. But because of the current dynamics, there's a lot of teachers out there, great teachers who have been doing it for years, who now since COVID has slowly had their control stripped away by admin not allowing them to have free reign in their classroom, and parents that are no longer supportive and in most cases are combative to anything that they want to do. So the way I view it is teachers are in a straitjacket. Like, imagine a teacher in a classroom with a straitjacket on. It's like, can somebody get me that? Get me that? No, not that. And when you feel that constant lack of control, the stress is outrageous. So these great, amazing teachers who literally have their hands tied behind their back are realizing that I don't have that control anymore like I used to. So these teachers are stressed out of their mind. But then comes step one. The only way to mentally do well in those situations is to lower expectations and accept it is what it is. And for real life, this is amazing advice. Letting go of things you don't control. Just letting things be the way that they are. But in the teaching setting, that means that Johnny is not going to improve like the Johnnies of the past did. It means that you know that they're not going to get the education and are not getting the education that you know that they should be getting, because there's too many other deterrents and distractions and things like admin holding you back and parents that complain that it becomes impossible. So now what does that result? The teacher standing in the front of the class with the straitjacket on and just being like, okay, they're moving around. All right, I'm just going to do my best with Susie right here, right now, and the rest of like it is what it is. And then just doing that every single day. You wonder why teachers are looking forward to the next break and can't wait until summer. It's because they get a chance to just go, and not have that, oh my God. And then once a teacher gets to a certain level where they recognize, I'm lowering my expectations of my classroom. This is not okay. So I gotta leave. And all you hear is the deterrence like, oh, you're weak and you can't handle it anymore. Oh, you should leave. While internally you're like, how can I do this? How can I give up on them? How can I admit that this is just not working anymore? And ultimately, how can I choose myself and saying, I need to step away and leave those kids and just, hey, it's not good, but I can't do it. That's why if you hear a lot of former teachers, they'll say that the stress is so much less because it's not feeling that complete and utter lack of control. So the lesson here is twofold. Number one is it is a great thing to lower expectations in your daily life to limit stress. That means if you're a little bit late, you'll get there when you get there. There's no reason. It is what it is. It's okay. Oh, you ran out of time. You didn't get the groceries today. It's okay. We'll do it tomorrow. But the second part is, in education, what does that look like? That looks like the expectations of students before to now is down here. And how is it ever going to go back up? Give the teachers control back. And this is a really hard thing, because I do think that parents should be involved in their education, but I think there's too many parents who are not good at that. And that's causing this issue that it makes it really impossible to find this balance between giving the teachers control and the parents not having the control over their own kids' education. But until this thing changes, until that changes, everything is just going to continue to get worse. Your veteran teachers are going to continue to quit and leave. And the new teachers that come in are just going to have lower expectations. And what is that going to look like in the future of America?
Guys, my mom's a preschool teacher, and I think she genuinely hit her breaking point today. So she's been telling me for months that she's so over her kids constantly saying 6, 7, because they're like 4-year-olds. They're all iPad kids, so obviously that's what they're gonna do. And she hasn't like figured out how to get them to stop. But today she actually, like, it was her final straw, because she was reading them a book and they were like all sitting on the carpet, and there was this one kid she was saying that was like sitting in the corner and would not stop saying 6, 7. Okay. Wouldn't stop saying it. And she snapped and she stopped reading her book and she yelled his name. She was like, come to the front of the class right now. So he gets up and he stands in front of the entire classroom, and she looks him dead in the eyes and she goes, point to the numbers 6 and 7 on the number line. All right, because there's a number line next to them. And he just stood there, face blank, like not a thought behind those eyes. He was so embarrassed, she was saying. And she looks at him and she goes, that's what I thought. I don't want to hear anybody in this class say 6, 7 again if you don't even know what the numbers 6 and 7 are. When you guys learn, you can say it. And silence. She was telling me the rest of the class, not a single person said 6, 7. I don't think they ever will. Because me personally, that would be a core trauma. Like, that would be a core memory for me. But she did what had to be done. Like, if it was me constantly, like, I had to teach a 15 plus like 4-year-olds and they would not stop saying 6, 7, like, I would not have my teaching license anymore is all I'm gonna say. But kudos to mama. She's a good teacher. She knows what she's doing. She's like strict but really kind. They love her. But yeah, she did what had to be done.
I once had a 9th grader who literally could not stand me, and low-key, the feeling was mutual. I would have to tell him to get off his phone every single day. He was not turning in any work and then had the nerve to be rude on top of all that. And so after a few months, I told him I was going to just start ignoring him until he was respectful enough for me to engage with. He would raise his hand, I'd act like I didn't see it. I was talking to another student, he would interrupt us, I would keep going like nothing. And it obviously made him very mad at first, but I was just at my limit. So then he tried to take out his anger on his classmates, and they were like, no, I'm just going to ignore you like the teacher does. And so when he started noticing people were ignoring him and they were fed up with him, his attitude changed. I think the anger that he had was because the only way he could get attention was negative attention, and when he realized he could no longer get negative attention, he wanted to try positive attention. He started completing his work, he raised his hand, he started apologizing. And now our relationship is amazing because he realized the positive attention he got from me was way better than the negative attention.
Teachers shocked by students' lack of basic classroom skills. It's scaring me. Yeah, me too. And you want to know why? It's because teachers are the only ones who get gaslit when they talk about how the job description isn't job descriptioning, you know? Firefighters, some of the bravest people. But if there was an arsonist on the loose, that would not be the firefighters' problem. They have to put out the fire, but they would eventually be like, hey, can we catch this arsonist because it's creating extra work for us? That's not really necessary, you know? But if you were a teacher and there was an arsonist in your classroom, they'd be like, well, what does the arsonist need? Why is he setting things on fire? His inner flame probably feels extinguished, and he's trying to be able to reach out. It's your job to be able to form a relationship with him. Make sure that the arsonist feels seen, heard, understood. You have these tools. Like, no, dude, he needs to be put in jail, removed from the classroom, and separated from the other kids. There's no other polite way to say it. So
let's talk about students with difficult behavior. Students with difficult behavior, they follow people before they follow rules. So in order for them to buy into what you have to say, you have to build a relationship with them first. And this is where I'm gonna get people to swipe from this video, because I said that thing. The alternative is to get rid of these students, right? You got one where you're gonna get rid of them and punish them, and you got one that you're gonna build relationships with them. If you take the other route where you're sending them to the principal's office, or sending to the dean's office, or sending them in the back of the classroom, or changing them from one classroom and putting them in your neighbor teacher's classroom, right? You're separating them from the rest of the students. You're trying to get them suspended. You're trying to give them detention. You're trying to punish them so much so that you feel that they'll never ever act up in your classroom again. But that's a problem, because they're always going to return back to your classroom. They're always going to be they can't be in the principal's office for 6 hours a day. They can't be suspended for 180 days of school. It's impossible. They're going to come back. And when they come back to your classroom, they're going to be a bigger monster, because they're going to be like, that's what you're going to do? You're going to send me away and I'm back? Psh, let me show you how big of a monster I could be in this classroom. Or the alternative is build relationships with these students. Build positive, respectful, supportive relationships with these students. And if you're able to build that relationship with them, then they'll listen to what you have to say. And if you get them to listen to what you have to say, then the whole class wins, because everybody is focused, everybody is learning, because they bought into your program, they bought into you, right? So you have two choices: build a relationship with these students, punish them and get rid of them. It's really up to you.
Okay, in 2026, can we please start giving children reasonable consequences? All I'm seeing on here are teachers quitting mid-year, not coming back after break. So that means on Monday, they're not going to be there. The kids will have a sub because, they're not going to be able to find a replacement that quick. There's already a teacher shortage. But one of the biggest reasons is because of the lack of support in the classroom regarding consequences. And I'm not just talking about for behaviors. I'm talking about late work even. There are legitimate reasons why work is late. There are legitimate reasons why students are tardy. I'm talking about when there's no consequence for when it happens chronically. Something that I'm constantly saying that my students are getting sick and tired of hearing is making mistakes with me before they cost you money. Because that's literally our jobs as teachers, as educators, and as parents, is to teach these kids how to function in the real world, make their mistakes with us in a loving, caring environment, understand the consequence so that they don't get in trouble after when they're in the wild. Here I'm seeing teenagers be like, hey, I got fired. Oh my gosh, why'd you get fired? Well, I came to work late. Okay, well, did you call them? No. Communication. So you didn't tell them that you were going to be late? No. How many times were you late? I was late like 4 times. Did you call them any of those 4 times? No. Why? Well, then yes, you're unreliable. How late were you? A couple minutes? No, I was like 30 minutes late one day. I was like an hour late another day. Yes, you're going to get fired for that. Well, I'm late to class all the time and nothing happens. And all the time I'm telling you, if you continue to be late in the real world, this is not going to fly. You're going to get fired. I didn't think you were serious. These are not current situations, all right? I'll never out my kids like that. But these are real life situations that are happening. Or the kid who sends you an email being like, I'm not going to be able to go to college this semester. Oh no, why? What happened? Well, there was a deadline for registering for classes and I missed it. Why did you miss it? I just forgot about it. I figured I would do it when I had time, when I felt like it. Okay, how late were you? The deadline was 2 months ago. So I went into the registrar's office the other day and I was like, I want to register. And they're like, no, you can't. Well, obviously, there's a deadline for a reason. Well, I don't know. I mean, when we were in school, you guys reminded us all the time and you always took our work. We never got in trouble if we turned it in late. Do people not see how we are setting them up for failure? Late work every once in a while is understandable. Being tardy every once in a while is understandable. There are reasons that these things happen, but the extent that we have been allowing all of these things to happen is seriously damaging the kids. I actually had a conversation about this a while back with my current students, and they agreed. They literally said, we do it because we know we'll get away with it. If there are no boundaries, they will do what they can get away with. It is literally common knowledge that nobody is following. I love Gen Z. I love Gen Alpha. It is not their fault that the adults in the world are failing them by not providing reasonable consequences. But they are for sure the ones who are going to pay for it.